Exceptional student education. My wife is an ESE teacher. She taught at Crestwood Elementary School. She taught at Northwest Elementary School. My wife taught exceptional education in District 1 schools. She is now an adult teacher at Irwin Technical College, but she has taught elementary, middle, junior high school, and senior high school learning disabled students most of her career. I believe this district can do more for exceptional student education. I think our exceptional student education programs and our teachers are not getting the full support and attention they need in this district. And I ask you, most of you Lowry parents are either the parents of an exceptional child or you know some parents of exceptional students. And I ask you to ask them, are they getting all the services they need? Because those exceptional ed services are mandated by the federal government and funded by the federal government. But something seems to happen with that money when it leaves the federal government before it arrives in the school and services for the ESE kids. I'm very concerned about our vulnerable students, and they are our exceptional students and our alternative students. And actually now what's happened, our minority students and our students of lower socioeconomic level that are not getting a fair shake in this district. The second thing I want to talk about, in order to address that, as a school board member, I would push for a division of the school district solely dedicated to exceptional education. Pinellas County has it. Why does not Hillsborough not have it? Why are our exceptional students not receiving? The exceptional education students and the vulnerable students should receive services first and be the highest priority in our school district, because they're the ones that have the biggest challenges to achieve what they need to achieve in the school district. Speaking of achievement, the achievement schools, and you've heard, they've been called everything. What do we call them everything, and we do very little with our achievement schools. Lowry's not an achievement school. In fact, District 1 does not approach the level of achievement schools that others, at least one other district does. But as a former principal of Tampa Bay Tech, as a former principal of Dowdell, 15 years as a high school assistant principal for curriculum, I have worked with minority and disadvantaged kids and parents and communities. And I can say to you is I'm really, really concerned about our children and our communities that are facing the greatest challenges. And I think we need to do more. District 1, according to Mr. Cona, everything's roses in District 1. I don't agree with him, and I disagreed with him publicly. When you look at District 1, we have Forest Hills, we have West Tampa, we have Town and Country. I live outside Egypt Lake. Then we have Countryway, we have West Chase, we have Keystone, we have Odessa. We're a very diverse district. We have kids that have the greatest challenges, and we have students with the greatest resources. We go from one extreme to another. I want to make sure that the children in West Tampa and the children in Egypt Lake in my neighborhood, I live in the Lato district, have the same opportunity to be successful as those kids at West Chase and those kids at Lowry and those kids at Alonzo. And all these areas need to have reasonable, equitable services. And I don't believe we're doing that, not only in District 1, we're really dropping the ball in other parts of the district. And the last thing I would say to you is, in order to do that, and I think your new superintendent is doing it, he is restructuring and he is refocusing on instruction and student performance. You have a whole turnover in district leadership. So it'd be premature for me to suggest to you organizationally what to do when it's already, most of those areas are being addressed by the new superintendent. The last thing I want to talk about is reading. I'm not too sure retaining kids at the 3rd grade level initially who can't read is the wisest thing we should be doing. And of course, we need to work with the legislature, and we need to work with the state on maybe looking at alternatives to that. Maybe we need to start retaining kids earlier. And this new superintendent is moving on phonics. He's moving on reading. So I think some of our issues that we've dealt with for the last 5 to 8 years are going to be addressed by this new administration. But we're not exactly sure what we got in this new superintendent. So far, I like what I see. Now, I can identify because I've been a district administrator, and I have the same degrees and same credentials as the superintendent does. But I've got a lot more experience than he has in this particular school district. He was an elected superintendent out in a small county, Clay County. Now he's in the 7th largest school district, and he's appointed. Operating in Hillsborough County is going to be much different than operating as an elected superintendent up in tiny Clay County. This is a big challenge he's facing. So those are my 3 areas I would like to address. The 4th one that goes with ESE is technical education. And I won't take any more of your time, but as a former avionics, electronics technician in the Air Force and an English teacher, I have a background both in academics and in technology. So I started out as an electronics technician, not an educator. So I can identify with the world of technology. And I'm not sure we're doing enough for technology either in our school district. But that's 4, so I'll stay with 3.
Well, I am a strong advocate and believer in a strong pre-K early learning program. I really want to see more of instruction and leveling that playing field so when our students come into kindergarten, they're all prepared and what we can do. I mean, just yesterday I had a student who came in who was testing, who's going into 1st grade, and there are so many holes for that child. What does that mean for them? So I really think we need to really place an emphasis on the pre-K programs. I also really believe on that hands-on learning. We need to make instruction more interesting. We need to bring back some of the arts, the music, the art. I can tell you for myself, you know, I moved here when I was 8 years old. English wasn't my first language. You know, I was on free and reduced lunch. I did not have a lot of opportunities, but because of the public school system, it gave me that love of learning, and it opened up many doors and opportunities for me. So I really think we need to bring that education, and teachers need to be able to teach. Not every child is going to be in the exact same spot as a 2nd grader on day 4. So we really need to modify that learning instruction and give some of that back to the teachers to make teaching more fun and creative. Also, I want to push the technical and vocational programs. You know, we want our kids to go to college, but many kids can have a wonderful career and a wonderful life with technical and vocation. In District 1, we don't have enough programs. And why are we waiting till high school? Why can't we introduce some of this at a younger age? And as for myself, as being a business owner of 2 businesses, I think that we need to bring in the community and the businesses back into the schools and work together. And I know how to do that because of my experience. I mean, I wasn't born into a business. I grew both of my businesses from the ground up, working hard and reaching out to communities and businesses. And that's how I did it. And that's how I plan on doing that, not just for Lowry Elementary, but for District 1 and the rest of the schools.
So lots and lots of programs. One of the things that I've worked on since I've got here is dual language. We had dual language in a few schools, so we are going to expand dual language in District 1 starting this fall. Canella will have dual language programs, and also Deer Park will have dual language programs. And maybe eventually Lowry, if we can get enough folks together, we can start a dual language program in our elementary schools. When you see the amount of learning gains that these students that are in these dual language classes make, it's off the chart. So expanding those programs into our elementary schools will do wonders for our district. It's really helping at Crestwood. Crestwood is one of our schools in our district that their dual enrollment program is excelling. The students are excelling. Same at Bellamy. Lots and lots of cool things coming from dual language, and I look to continue and continue with that in my second term. Also, the other thing, bringing some more CTE programs to our middle schools, more electives to our middle schools. middle school is hard for our students. We need to give them some opportunities where they can expand their horizons and really understand some other things other than, the reading, writing, and arithmetic. We need to give them some fun things to do. We need more culinary programs. We need more shop programs, more construction programs, just for them to start getting acclimated to all the potential career pathways that they have. And then lastly, one of the things that is near and dear to my heart is social and emotional learning. I've partnered with frameworks to bring in social emotional learning to Town and Country Elementary and Webb Elementary, and those students are doing great things. So I'd like to expand our social emotional learning as well to help our kids, because it's been a trying time the last few months, and when our kids come back to school, being able to give them the coping mechanisms they need to become solid leaders. The Frameworks program has done great. They implemented the Frameworks program at Town and Country, and that school went from a C to a B, and the same at Webb. That school went from a C to a B. So these programs have really, really good results, and I'd like to expand that to a lot more of our schools.